As a business owner, how do you view leadership? Do you see it for what it really is? Imagine if your way of leading profoundly transformed someone's life, setting them on a path to change the world. What kind of legacy will your leadership leave 100 years from now? As a small business owner, do you value leadership? The statistics would say no. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pursuit of Value podcast, the show where we help business owners like you unlock sustainable growth and create a lasting legacy. I'm your host, Marcus Hamaker. Today we're going to break down leadership, explore its true value, and discover how mastering four components of leadership, influence, accountability, direction, and structure can transform your business. Let's get started. So, why leadership matters. Unfortunately, and we talk about this all the time on this podcast, the statistics in business do not lie. 30% of all new businesses will fail within 2 years, and 50% will fail within 5 years. And as John Maxwell says, the single biggest way to impact an organization is to focus on leadership development. This quote emphasizes the importance of leadership, and it's my argument that leadership is not given enough value specifically in small business. Leadership is more than a title or a checklist of tasks. It's the driving force behind business growth and personal impact. Research by Gallup shows that organizations with strong leadership experience 21% higher employee engagement and 22% more profitability. Think about that for a second. Wouldn't it be awesome to have a 22% margin added to your bottom line? Leadership isn't optional, it's essential for success. So, why does it make such a difference? Strong leadership aligns your team with your vision and mission. It's simple. It builds trust and boosts morale. And perhaps the most important, it allows your business to adapt in the face of challenges. When you lead well, you don't just build successful businesses, you build great people. But here's the catch. Leadership is often overlooked, especially when it comes to small business, because small business owners are juggling a million tasks and it tends to not be a priority. When I started my business, I really thought that leadership was making sure everyone knew what to do for the day and just getting things done. It was pretty simple when it came to my perception of leadership. Have you ever considered how your leadership style shapes your business or how it impacts the lives of those in your team? I know I have felt the consequences of poor leadership before. I've had many jobs in my career. I'm 54 years old. I've had jobs and worked for poor leaders that affected my home life. I would come home irritated, yelling at the dog, being a total jerk. How you're treated in the environment that you work in during the day has a dramatic effect on your overall life. And we as leaders need to understand that. How you lead your business affects people and not just at work. Now, imagine if strong leadership could do the opposite, create an environment where people thrive and carry that positivity, those good vibes into their personal lives. That's the power of leadership. All right, let's jump into the four components of leadership. To become a great leader, there are four key components to focus on, and I touched on them before: influence, accountability, direction, and structure. Let's jump into influence. Influence is inspiring action without authority, and we talked about power and authority in a previous episode. Influence is about inspiring action without relying on authority. It's about authenticity, empathy, and strong communication. Great leaders align their actions with their values and genuinely care about their teams. And you know what? Your team knows, employees know when you truly care. Influence isn't just about getting others to follow. It's about building trust and inspiring loyalty. It's about showing others that you have them in your best interest. And that's a genuine thing to have in a company. How do you develop influence? Well, you have to practice empathy. Listen to your team's concerns. You have to communicate a vision that resonates personally and professionally. You need to be able to communicate how they fit into the vision of your company. And most importantly, lead by example with integrity and consistency. That's so important. Remember this: leadership isn't just about what you do, but how you make people feel. All right. Number two is accountability, and it's the foundation of trust. At its core, accountability is about taking responsibility for both success and failures. It's about owning your role and setting the tone for transparency within your team. When accountability is missing, you get chaos, blame games, eroded trust, and stalled progress. It never works. But strong accountability fosters a culture of fairness and trust. So, some actionable tips for accountability: clearly define the roles and expectations in your business, and provide regular constructive feedback to your team. And don't be afraid to admit your mistakes. As a leader, when you admit your mistakes, you're doing multiple things. Not only are you modeling integrity and accountability, holding yourself accountable, but you're giving your team permission to fail. And that is so critical, because it's through those failures that your leadership can shine and you can teach the most. True leadership means showing your team that accountability isn't about assigning blame. It's about demonstrating integrity. It is saying you will do what you say you will do, and you're setting the expectation that others will do the same. So important. You know, I once worked for someone who would delegate like a champ. This guy worked so hard, but never followed up and held no one accountable. The whole team knew, and it's not that we didn't get work done, but we knew that he wouldn't follow up, and we really didn't respect him all that much. He was a hard worker, but we knew that when something was assigned, in his mind, it was forgotten. And so it just wasn't a good deal. All right. Number 3, direction. And this is the compass for success. Now let's talk about direction for a second. Without direction, you do not know where you're going. Pretty simple. It sounds simple, but think about this. With a lack of direction, teams lose focus. Efforts scatter, morale drops, and opportunities slip through the cracks. Essentially, if you don't provide good direction each and every day, each and every week, your team really loses sight of what's going on the day-to-day. You would be surprised on how many employees do not know how their job contributes to the overall vision of the company. And as a consultant, I've done a lot of interviews with employees, because that's always where you start. And you ask them pretty basic questions. How does your role affect the overall corporation? And most of them can't articulate that. And that's really sad. Leadership requires clarity, clear goals, defined priorities, and an understanding of everyone's role for achieving success. So, how do you provide direction? Share your vision with your team so they understand the big picture. It's something you got to repeat each and every week. You got to break down objectives into achievable steps and regularly check to make sure everyone stays aligned. Ask the basic questions. How's everything going? Do you understand your role, your responsibility? Do you see how you fit in the big picture? You have to be able to talk about that stuff all the time and bring it up consistently. All right, number 4 is structure, the backbone of success. Structure is the framework that holds everything together. It brings stability and ensures efficiency, making your direction actionable and realistic. In essence, structure creates an organized workspace and lays the groundwork for improved clarity. A solid structure reduces confusion, improves collaboration, and provides clarity. Without it, you risk disorganization and inefficiency. So, how do you create strong structure? You've got to keep your organizational chart up to date. You got to look at it consistently. It's the blueprint. When you have that visual of an org chart, man, that's powerful. Clearly define the roles and make sure everyone knows their responsibilities. Like I just spoke about, make sure that people understand where they fit in the company. And specifically with onboarding and new employees, that's critical, because that's foundational to their tenure at the company. Make sure that they understand that. And then streamline your processes to maximize efficiency. This is really important, and I'm not sure that many companies spend a lot of time looking at why they do things, how they do things, and what's the end goal. Your team can't build success on a shaky foundation. Structure is the backbone. It supports everything else. All right, here's the big takeaway. Influence, accountability, direction, and structure are all deeply interconnected. Influence inspires your team to take action. Accountability fosters trust and ensures reliability. Direction keeps efforts aligned and focused on the shared goal. And structure provides the stability needed to consistently move forward. So, reflect on your leadership today. Ask yourself these questions. How do I influence my team? Am I holding myself and my team accountable? Have I clearly communicated our direction consistently? And does my business have the structure to support growth? Leadership is a continuous evolution, not a one and done task. Remember, how you lead today will shape tomorrow's legacy. All right. Thank you for joining me today on the Pursuit of Value podcast. I hope this episode gave you a new perspective on the importance of leadership specific to your small business. If you'd like to take things further, please visit thepovpodcast.com and download our free mini ebook. That's new. Please check that out. It's the mindset shift, how successful business owners think differently. You can also purchase the full ebook on our website as well. Please like, subscribe, and share this episode with fellow business owners who are committed to growth. It really does help the channel. Until next time, keep pursuing value and keep building a lasting legacy. We'll see you next time.